memories come in flashes, some beautiful, some painful. How do I tell the story of the one that came to my rescue? This film has been made 1,000 times in my head, and it's never perfect. As time pushes us slowly apart, his story is becoming my story.
Tonight we take you to science class in the Garza County School District of Southland to meet KMAC's Teacher of the Week. And believe me, there's never a dull moment in Tom Lewis's class. Just a typical day in Mr. Lewis's science class. Today, the kids are learning firsthand about chemical reactions.
We just put 2 chemicals in here and then with some water.
And boom. In a course that often seems far removed from the real world, it's Mr. Lewis's job to get across to the kids that science is all about how the real world works. Now the kids gather round to find out how a gumdrop is oxidized in potassium chloride. Fortunately, this doesn't even come close to the worst case of indigestion. It may not leave a taste for gumdrops, but the kids definitely have an appetite for learning. You know, it's about time he was our Teacher of the Week.
No doubt about it. He does look like he makes things very interesting for the kids.
He has a good time.
I drove a bus for 39 years. About 36 of those years, I drove both morning and afternoon routes. I have a lot of memories from those days, riding with the kids. In fact, it's kind of funny, I was teaching the children when I left teaching of the children who began riding my bus back in 1971. And now that I'm retired, I've come to Denton, Texas. When I retired, I wrote in my little calendar book, I said, God, I don't know the future, but I know that you hold the future. And in July, I was diagnosed with prostate cancer. And all I can say is, nothing comes to me, but it goes through the hand of God first. We moved from Houston when I was in the 6th grade. It was in, I believe, January of 1958. My dad moved my mother and all 6 of us kids over to the house on the ranch in Louisiana. We had, I think, something about like 500 head of cows. And my dad kept his office in Houston. I guess with his prognosis that he might not have long to live, I guess he didn't feel comfortable trying to come start a new practice. So Houston was 250 miles away, and he would come over every weekend. I don't know how he did it, but I know when he would come, particularly in the summertime, he would get us up early and he'd get in a good weekend of work. It was hard work. Daddy believed in working us hard because he thought it molded and developed character. We worked in the new grounds where my dad would have woods cleared up by bulldozers. We'd have to go in and cut the snags with axes, and we'd have to pick up all the big wooden chunks to get the land ready for a bush hog to go over. We'd have to burn the windrows of huge trees and mend them up. I grew to love coming in out of the pastures, being able to look back and see the work he had done that day. I loved it. I just became really attached to the home place ranch, and I really didn't want to leave. But my dad was bound and determined that we all become doctors. I know you didn't want to displease him. In fact, I was kind of afraid of him. But he was a good man. He just had a hard struggle through life. And he came out of Mississippi with nothing and made himself a medical doctor. And so in, I guess, the summer of 1964, following graduation from high school, my dad drove me to College Station, Texas, and dropped me off at Texas A&M. Took my suitcase out, shook my hand, and said good luck. And then he drove off.
Does that kill your camera?
Not at all, dude.
Okay.
Happy
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday